Hey guys, it's Grace from Grace Gabs, and today I'm going to be doing the Book Courtship Tag. I wasn't tagged by anyone to do this, but I really like this tag, so I thought, why not? I'm going to go ahead and do it. So, let's get started. Question 1. Initial attraction. A book that you bought because of the cover. I'm pretty guilty of buying books because of their cover, because I like beautiful covers, so when I see one, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. So, yeah, I kind of do that a lot. But the one that I'm going to use today is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I found this at a used bookstore, and oh my gosh, I love it so much. It's gorgeous. It's got, like, I guess, supposed to be Jane on it, and then, like, it's in, the name is in, like, gold, and you fold it around, and it's, like, still part of the picture. Anyway, this would have to be the book that I bought because of the cover. I mean, I've read the story before, I've read the book before, but yes, I bought this book because of its cover, because it's gorgeous! Question 2. First impressions. A book that you got because of the summary. Now, for this book, I'm going to go with one that actually came up on my suggested page on Goodreads. They said you would like this book, and that is What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. This book showed up on my Goodreads page, and I was like, oh, it looks really interesting. And I got it, and absolutely loved it. Loved it. But I was kind of scared because I just read the description and was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I didn't know if I'd like it or not, but I did. So, yes, What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. Question number 3, Sweet Talk, a book with great writing. This next book I actually read as a part of a book club that I was in a few months ago, and it's kind of a really classic book. I think everyone is required to read it in high school. I know they were a few years ago. I don't know if that's still the same today, but it's a really good one, and it is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This book was amazing, and it wasn't just a story. Harper Lee's writing style is just so, I don't know how to describe it, it just drew me in, and I felt like while reading it that it was actually her own experiences. Like, I had to keep telling myself that Harper Lee, this is not Harper Lee telling the story, this is Scout. I know that Harper Lee, some of the same things that happened and the story kind of happened in her life and affected the writing, but I still, while reading it, was like, this is a true story. I felt like it was so real, and it was so good. So definitely, the writing on this book was amazing, and I loved it so much. Question number 4, First Date, a book of a series which made you want to pick up the rest of the series. This book was probably one of the first, YA books that I read. Probably, one of the first ones that actually got me into reading, YA. A friend that I knew was reading it at the time, and so I was like, well, I'll read it. And the movie was just about to come out, and it's a pretty popular one. And that book is Divergent by Veronica Roth. Yes, I fell in love with this series because of the first book. I remember reading it in the car on a road trip and being like, oh my gosh, I love this and I need more, and finishing it and being like, what happens next? I have to know. So yes, this book definitely got me into the whole series. Even though I'm not exactly happy how the series turned out, it definitely got me into it. Question number 5, Late Night Phone Calls, a book that kept you up all night. Now, I have to admit, I am a night owl and I stay up late reading a lot, but the book that really came to me when I read this question was Dress by Marissa Meyer. I read this book a little over a month ago, maybe more, and it was amazing, and there was so much in it that I was just like, what? Oh my gosh! And I remember being at my sister's house at 1:30 in the morning. Everyone else was asleep, and I'm just in this room reading, and I had maybe 2 chapters left, and while I didn't want to finish the book because I'm still waiting for the next one, I was like, I have to finish it now. And so I literally stayed up. Everyone else was asleep. And I was just in this room by myself reading, which was awesome. I like to read at night anyway. But yes, this book definitely kept me up late. Question number 6, Always on My Mind, a book you could not stop. While I was trying to think of an answer to this question, I realized that I really think about a lot of books while I'm reading. And it's hard for me to pick one that I'm always thinking about, so it was kind of a tricky one. But ultimately, I have to go with The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This was probably one of the second or third series that I read that was YA. I really got into all these series late, really late, but I'm in them. I'm in the fandoms now. And I remember reading this and being like, whoa, what? Huh? I mean, I just wanted to like read it. That's all I wanted to do was like just finish this book because it was really good and it really messed with my brain. So, yeah, The Hunger Games. Question 7. Getting Physical. A book which you love the way it feels. It's funny because I usually don't think about the way a book feels until someone brings it to my attention. And now that it's been brought to my attention, I'm like always like feeling my books out, like, do I like this? Do I not like it? But the book that I think I love the way it feels and kind of got because it was beautiful and it has a great feeling to it is The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. I picked this up at a used book sale for I think like $1. I just found it and I thought the cover was gorgeous, and now that I've been like feeling it, I think it's even prettier. It's got like these really cool designs on it, and the title and the author's name are kind of like, they stand out so you can kind of feel them, and it feels so cool. And then you can also feel it like on the side, it's got a cool feeling. It's got that cool like flap that like opens and so it doesn't quite cover it. I don't know why, but overall, this book feels amazing. And I'm just like, I love this book. Yeah, I haven't even read this yet, but I definitely will read it probably next year. So yeah, The Forgotten Garden. It feels amazing. I never thought I would say that. Question number 8. Meeting the Parents. A book which you would recommend to your family and friends. Pretty much all the books I read I would recommend because I love to have people to talk about books with, so I'm like, go read everything that I read so we can talk about it and discuss it. But definitely one that really got me thinking and I would love to talk about with other people was The Giver by Lois Lowry. I read this as well for book club, and I'd heard a lot about before. It's another one of those ones that's like required reading, I think. It was really good. And it had some really interesting themes and issues that it dealt with. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who hasn't read it. I know the movie just came out. Read the book if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see it, because you should always read the book first. Even if you've seen the movie, go read the book. It was really interesting and just made me think about things differently. I don't know, I just really enjoyed it, and I would say if you're wanting to kind of get into like the dystopian stuff, I would think this would be a good first one to get into because it's very, very interesting. So yeah, The Giver. Question number 9. Thinking about the future. A book or series you know you will reread many times in the future. Okay, so for this answer, I hope it counts because I'm currently reading this series for the first time, but I love it, and I know that I will read this in the future. I don't know when or how many years it'll be. I just can tell it's one of those ones that I'm going to want to reread. And that is, not surprisingly, the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I'm currently on book 5, I'm reading it this month, and I can just already tell by reading them for the first time, like, okay, I need to go back, because there's so much little details, and I'm like, oh, or people will point out and be like, oh, well, did you know this is like this, and this connects to this, and I'm like, no. I mean, how could you not reread this series? And the final question, number 10, share the love. Who do you tag? Now, I don't have anyone specific I'm going to tag, but seriously, if you're a booktuber and you haven't done this tag, go do it. I'm tagging you right now because this is an awesome tag, and I think it really gives people an idea of the books you like and what exactly your interests are, and just kind of shows more about your personality. So, if you haven't done this and you're a booktuber, go do it now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.